In this video, we'll discuss how you can add column footers to a list, and we'll discuss two types of column footers, so-called data column footers, which appear after all the rows of data, and then fixed column footers, which appear at the very bottom of the list. And we'll show how you can also then, once you've defined column footers, how you can put summary values for the list inside those column footers. So for example, you might want to display the total of this quantity column or the average, etc. So let's start out by going into the list builder. So we'll go to the list builder and we'll say that we want summary values for the quantity field. So we'll go here and we'll turn on server-side summary values. So basically you can define summary calculations at either on either server side or client side. So server side computes the summary based on all of the records in the SQL query, and client side bases the summary on the visible rows that are currently in the list. So then we'll go now that we've turned on compute summary for the quantity field, we'll go now to our layout. We'll go to our quantity column here and turn on column footers. And then you can see, if we look in column footers, we have two types of column footers. We have, as I mentioned earlier, fixed column footers, which appear at the bottom of the list, and data column footers, which appear after all of the rows in the list have been rendered. So data column footers will only be visible when you scroll to the end of the list, and they will scroll off the list as you they'll scroll out of view as you scroll the list, whereas fixed column footers are always going to be visible. So if you choose fixed column footers, you can specify how many rows or footers you want. So I'm going to go here and choose 1 row, even though you could choose up to 5 rows. And then I'm going to go here and define the template. So in the template, I can write any HTML that I want, but I can also use the builder here to insert a summary value. So I'm going to go here and say I want a server-side summary value for quantity, and I want the total. So this is going to put a placeholder in the list over here, and later on I can go here and add some formatting, but for right now I'll just leave it unformatted. And then let's go ahead now and run this. So when we run it, we'll see at the bottom of the list we have our summary value, and since it's a fixed value, it stays visible as the list is scrolled. And this is displaying a summary of all of the rows in the query. So if we go there and change the list query to say quantity, and then let's go here and basically say less than or equal to 5. So now we're going to go from 2,100 records to 237 records, and you can see here that the summary value has changed. And if we want to go and decorate that value with some additional text, we can go here to quantity, and we can go there and edit this, and then go here and type in total 4. And then if we want to add some formatting, we can just put our cursor anywhere inside the placeholder and click on this button and say we'd like to choose, say, this format over there. So go ahead and click OK. So the format gets inserted after 2 double pipes, and there's the format directive. And let's go ahead now and run this. So there we have our total for quantity with our text, and then the formatted value over there. And as you can see, this value stays on the screen as you scroll the list. So let's go back now and edit the list layout, and go here and go back into the builder and then capture this placeholder onto the clipboard and cut it from there. And then I'm going to go here and turn off fixed column footers and change it into a floating column footer. So this is a data column footer, and then I'll just paste the placeholder in over there, and we'll go ahead now and run it. And what we see is, as we scroll to the end of the list, there's our summary value, which has been added to the last row of the list. But because this is a data footer, it can be scrolled on and off the list depending on the scroll position of the list itself. So what we've shown in this video is how you can easily add two different types of column footers to a list layout, and then how you can define either server-side or client-side filters, and put those filters in either the fixed or the data footer by just using a placeholder. And this technique of using the placeholder is easier than the previous technique, which was to write JavaScript in the after server-side summary value compute event, which is listed over here, which is no longer needed when you want to take those summary values. So there are two events here: after server-side summary compute and after client-side summary compute. And previously you would need to use these two events to capture the summary value and then inject it into the inner HTML of some element on the page. So it's much easier now to display summary values on a list. Thanks very much for watching.